We moving. We ready, Madam City Clerk? Okay. Hmm?
We're going on this end.
Oh, you.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
We're ready.
Good morning. It's good to see every one of you on this beautiful Tuesday morning. And at this time, we'll kick off our pre-council meeting and turn it over to our very capable city clerk.
This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, November 24th. We have approval of minutes from November 17th.
Good job.
Great.
Appeals, we have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance. And that is on November 29th from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. on Dolphin Street.
I don't have an issue.
Also, we'll have Goodwill Gulf Coast will do the presentation today of the Christmas ornament. So we'll have that following communications from the mayor.
Okay.
Presentations of petitions and other communications to the council. Turk Schlesinger with Alter Point, and he is just giving us an update. Basically, Alter Point is one of the 3 providers chosen for a crisis diversion pilot program, so he'll talk about that. Sandy Christian. Okay. Sandy Christian regarding Melivana Dog Park. Barry Friedman.
Can I ask a question about this? Excuse me.
Yes.
Thank you. I was hoping someone from the administration could give an update on what's been happening on the dog parks since the last time I contacted her. Well, she contacted me and I wrote on, I want to say October 14th, but I didn't get a timeline or any information. So that's the last time I was in touch with Miss Christian. And so if there's more information, which I understand there is, that would be great to have someone from the administration, to give her what's been going on and hopefully maybe some understanding of when the large dog park side will open.
Sure. Councilwoman Rich, this is Jim DeLapp. Happy to provide an update if she's on the call or on the meeting still, provide an update to her, but just for your own awareness, all the work out there is essentially complete. It should be opened up again tomorrow. They just had some minor leveling of some of the ground just to make sure it's, from the tree removals that they had to do. But the fences were removed, trees were removed, stumps were removed, fence was put back, I think, yesterday. And so it should be open up again tomorrow.
Good. That'll make a lot of people happy. And I don't know if she's going to address us or not, but since she's signed in, I'm going to assume that she, wants an update. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Okay, Barry Friedman, he is to speak up. He and his client are to speak about the liquor app at Strategic Solutions.
Yeah, Madam Clerk, I'd like to get an update on this matter from Mr. Arledge. I think the last thing I heard, and I may have missed any later developments, was there was still some missing information.
The only thing I know of we don't have is the police report.
That's a big piece.
It's a big piece.
I've looked at Alicourt. The case that was referenced was dismissed, non-prost. I don't know what the reason was. They said it was just a big misunderstanding. It was in Clark County about a bad check. I haven't found any other, I looked on Alcourt just a minute ago. I didn't see any other cases, criminal cases involving this guy. But that's all I know other than that. And Mr. Freeman will be on to explain whatever he has to say.
Yeah, but we're still missing the police report, right?
That's true.
I know that Jim Barber's listening. I had a direct conversation or an email conversation with the chief, who assured me last week he was going to have attention on this. So there must be a reason for us not having their blessing on this application.
Look like they don't have nothing.
Well, I know it's Mr. Davis' place.
Nothing leaves nothing.
Well, I think if we could get, is Director Barber on?
I'm on.
Okay. Jim, if we could get something from the police department between now and 10:30, either they're still preparing the report or they don't have a report or some idea of what the issue is with the police report, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll call over there right now. Tell me again the agenda item that we're looking at.
It's item 37-850, ABC Board for issuance of retail beer, table wine, off-premises only license for 507 Azalea Road. This is the corner of Azalea and Pleasant Valley.
All right, let me see if I can get that done, see where that is, and I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we also have Joaquin Holloway, and he will be talking about the train exhibit at the Florium. And Reggie Hill, he will be addressing us regarding 01851, 08852 through 08856. Specific questions. 01851, what's the difference between ADA compliant sidewalks and City of Mobile standards for sidewalk construction? Will the city have to contribute to the cooperative? And if so, are these resources being appropriated from CIP funds? Items held over, 34025, ordinance to amend chapter 34 of the city code regarding short-term lodging or rentals. And this was
On-
original.
Yeah, on this one, I think you all know we have to table this one. We have a committee meeting next week to begin discussing all of this again.
Okay. 4685, 8687, 96 are declaring structures public nuisances and ordering them demolished. At 1914 Nerline Lane, 1606 Katy Street, 2765 College Street, 1856 Clinton Avenue. 08841, approved purchase order to Spring Hill Automotive for Toyota Sequoia SUV. 08842, approved purchase order to Sun South for John Deere tractor. 08843, approved purchase order to Toomey Equipment for 2 land pride mowers. 08844, approved purchase order to Truck Equipment Sales for 450 trucks. 08845, approved item-based bid with Mass Marine for welding repairs and upgrades to trash trailers. 08846, approved item-based bid to Rush Truck Centers for replacement of wiring and lights on trash trailers. 37850, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a retail beer, table wine, off-premises only license for Strategic Solutions on Azalea Road. So item, being introduced for the first time, 01. Are these? Okay, 01851, authorized cooperative agreement with AlDOT for pedestrian hybrid beacons, crosswalks, and ADA compliant sidewalks between Westwood Street and Seminole Street. 08852, approved purchase order to Atlantic Video Corporation for courtroom technology prototype equipment for municipal court.
This one's gonna change. This one's gonna change, guys. There was some talk yesterday about it also including circuit courts, other courts other than municipal, and it will not. At this point, I just got a note from Jim that it will be just municipal, and we're not sure what that number is, but as y'all have heard, there's a huge backlog. Be trying to give people fair trial, speedy and fair trial. So I had to wring my hands yesterday, but it's something we're just going to have to do with no end in sight for speedy trial.
Okay, so we're going to take it up today?
Yes, sir.
Is that what we got from Chris? Is that
Well,
the addition?
It's changed. So that huge number is now,
Right.
that $2 million number is because you take all the other courts off. Now we're just looking at municipal courtroom.
And that was,
courtrooms. And that's
that
gonna
was
be,
the 4 courts?
I think it's gonna be 4 of our courtrooms, yes.
This is not the same one as the contracts that, Chris sent. This is, different.
Okay,
I understand, yeah, that's correct. But we won't be doing what Chris gave us yesterday.
because it's the same company,
Right, that's correct. So
but they're not the same.
not in total. Right now, Ricardo is working on a resolution that will get to us before the 10:30 meeting. And there'll be some sort of substitution or tabling or something that'll go on. I'll try to keep y'all posted on that one.
For this particular one, not the stuff that Chris sent us, the COVID camera stuff for the
No,
court.
this is exactly.
I'm thoroughly confused.
Yeah, me.
I am,
This is Ricardo. So Mr. Williams, he hit the nail on the head just now. He said it. It's the same company, it's the same apparatus, but as Mr. Williams said, we are no longer including the circuit court courtrooms. It's just gonna be the prototype and our municipal courtrooms for the cameras. Same thing that Mr. Arledge sent you is just gonna be pared down because it's no longer gonna create the same apparatus for the 8th floor and the 6th floor on the other side. It's just going to be municipal courts, or our 4 and their prototype. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
so can I ask a
Still
question?
confused.
Yeah.
We've got the 81,000 that was on the agenda already.
Prototype.
That's the prototype. Then there was 2, I understand the larger of the 2 other contracts is getting pulled. Then there's
Okay.
the 300 and something thousand for the 4 courtrooms.
That's
So
correct.
is the 81 included in the 300, or are they 2 different things that need to be?
They're added
this is-
together. They're gonna be
Hey,
added.
it's Jim Barber. The 81 is included in the 4. Instead of what had happened, we got notified by the state that the CARES Act money had to be spent by December the 1st. And so that's why, rather than just proceed with a prototype, we decided to go with all 4 municipal courtrooms.
Okay, so then, so 08852 then we'll table because it's included in, what we're adding onto the agenda, in the 323,000.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay, so we're tabling this one.
Then are we going, substitute the one that Chris sent us for 852? Is that what it is?
Not the one that Chris sent us.
Last night.
It will
What he
be
said was a
similar to what
contract.
Chris sent us, but it will
Okay.
only be municipal court. It'll be for just a
Whoa.
Okay, all
We're
right, so,
tabling What is it?
This one.
852? Well, 852 is a purchase order, and the one that we're adding is the contract.
But we're tabling 852, right?
No.
No.
Well,
Well, let's-
I asked them that, but they said yes, but I don't think that they understand that this is a purchase order. John Payne, do you want to weigh in on this?
I haven't had anything to do with the additional piece at the moment. As far as I know, there's a new resolution coming to you guys.
That's correct.
Okay, so do we need to table the purchase order or no?
Yes, you'll table it, but I would say this, just to be safe, hold it off to next week. Just Mr. Arledge and Jim Barber both just said, look, it's the prototype is included in the 4 courtrooms. We know there's only going to have to be 4, but out of an abundance of caution, you just hold the purchase order over, and the 4 courtrooms, that's the one that Mr. Williams was talking about moving forward with.
864. 21864.
It's gonna be 863
That's
now.
Okay, well, that's the 4 courtrooms. Okay.
I have a question. Thank you. I noticed, and I don't remember whether it was the full court or whether it's municipal court, but one of them said the contract could run for a year. So hopefully we'll be out of COVID by then. So is there going to be state legislative act that people can remotely do their legal things through the courts by using these cameras? I mean, do they have a livelihood in its future?
Yes, they do. That's a good question. You already have that type of, you already have the ability to be able to do so virtually.
Right.
It's just that we don't have the equipment, but COVID has pushed us into the 21st century.
And so it's going to be allowed on a good day, in other words, that somebody could report virtually to their judge or whatever. Is that what you're saying?
Legally,
future.
yes, but that's going to be up to the judges, not us. But yes, you could.
Okay, so this has a livelihood because it's okay. That was my concern because the contract says they have a year. Like I said, I'm not sure which one that was sitting in, and it might be moot, but since there were more courts they needed to get virtual. So how long is this contract for? How quickly will they move?
Hey, it's Jim Barber. I talked to the vendor on it. If he were to do all those courtrooms, it would have taken a year. And since he scaled back to just the 4 municipal courtrooms, I would imagine we'd be up and running by spring. Talking to him, prototype, but now we've decided to just go all the way with all 4 courtrooms so that we can have that money reimbursed to us.
I may be confused now.
So one of the things I was going to tell you all is, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams.
No, I just wanted to, now, because I got a little bit confused now. And we probably all just back up and say, all right, we have 4 municipal courtrooms. And we are going to install this equipment in each of those. Jim says we're not going to be ready till spring. And then that brings in Bess's argument. When will the first courtroom be ready? I mean, because if we're not going to be operating until June.
Spend the money, John. We need to spend the
I
money.
hear that. I hear it. December 1st. We have to expend by December 1st.
If we don't do anything, it's gonna be December 1st before we disband the meeting. We need to buy the cameras while we can. We need to get the equipment while we can. We can bait it, massage it, hook on it. We need to buy the equipment while we can.
Next Tuesday.
Let me tell you, I wanted to tell you, this equipment does have a life beyond COVID. So we already use video at the jail. And one of the things this helps us do is to be able to not have to deal with transport, to be able to do things virtually on a regular basis. And so people want to appear virtually, they can. It especially helps keeping our officers out of court and just sitting there. So we're not dealing with transport. The sheriff's department's not dealing with transport. That is a substantial benefit for time. And so to the extent we can get it to the point where some people don't even necessarily have to come down here, then that helps us with time, money, and we can do this now at almost no cost because we're getting reimbursed.
Okay.
Any other questions? I guess, so we're at this point waiting on the new contract with the pared down numbers.
Okay, we're gonna hold 852 over 1 week.
Right.
And then got a new one coming on 853 that will be the around $400,000 for the installation of in the four courts, and that we will add to the agenda and take up today, right?
Right. And Madam City Clerk, do you have the one for the 4 courtrooms already?
Yes.
We got it.
Okay, so let's go.
We don't have them yet.
Okay. The one for the 4 is the one you will substitute. You have that one in.
That one, yesterday.
Last
Thank you.
night, we got it.
08853, 854, 855, 856, 857 are approving purchase orders to UJ Chevrolet for 4x4 pickup truck, $29,629.05, for a Silverado 4x2 pickup truck, $27,632.54. For a Silverado 4x2 pickup truck, $27,632.54. And AutoNation Ford for two Ford 250 4x2 pickup trucks, $62,840. And Vulcan Inc. for 750 aluminum traffic signs, $19,193. 08858, approve item-based bid with Air Gas USA LLC for Class 3 high visibility rain suits. 21859, authorized contract with Cone for emergency hurricane damage to 4 elevator systems at the Arthur R. Outlaw Mobile Convention Center, $33,175. 21860, authorized contract with Lead Engineering Company for Bush Park drainage improvements, $21,285. 58861, assess cost for removal of weeds, repeat group 42. 60862, determine an appropriation to Scarborough Model Middle School, serves appropriate public purpose. We're adding 21863, authorizing a contract with Atlantic Video Corporation for the design and installation for secure and safe operations of municipal court, $323,478.32. 60864, request mayor to create a utility we're also adding 60864, requesting the mayor to create a utility assistance program for city residents of low to moderate income that have experienced documented income loss due to COVID-19.
Excuse me. I didn't think we were gonna entertain that one where the other courtrooms. I thought that was now moot, and so does it just get removed, or we have to table it?
It's removed.
That's 21863.
No,
we removed that one, so that changed the numbers.
I
Oh,
see.
about that, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that just okay. Thank you.
I'd like some information on 60864 and I have no objection to adding it to the agenda. Is the intention to take this one up today?
The utility assistance.
Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am. I think we need to move with some urgency. There's certainly documented need throughout. I know my district and many others, and this is a program that other cities throughout the state have utilized these particular funds for. It's not a surprise to the administration. I've conversed with the mayor concerning the idea, and so I'm hopeful that there'll be hopefully unanimous agreement that we at least entertain the idea, and if it's feasible and financial for us to move forward, let's do what we can to help some struggling citizens, particularly during this holiday season.
Is this a use it or lose it?
Yeah, part of the. Is
With
this
the
part of the-
CARES Act, yes, sir. If we don't expend the rest of those resources, Washington is going to look for those funds to come back. And I know that's not a posture that we want to start establishing. Especially when we can help some needy citizens in our community.
Okay, I'd
How
like
is
to
it
hear.
going to be implemented? Did you talk to the administration to find out who's going to handle the program?
Well, that would be something that they would set up. Councilman Richardson and I, in talking with two other council persons to get it on the agenda. We both brought up Mobile Community Action because they have that skill set. People are used to going to them in order to get that type of utility assistance. I think that can be worked out very quickly, but I wanted to get this on the agenda first so that we can at least get the idea moving.
No, I was okay with adding it. I actually wrote back and said, okay, but I didn't know if you had already talked to the administration, so we would learn how the program was going to roll out. Whether it was going to be like in-house, like we did the loans, remember that? Or
yes,
was
ma'am.
this going to be
I
where
do.
people applied elsewhere and we funded it? So that you've had no discussion is what you're saying yet.
We have not. We've had preliminary discussions about it being on the merit of the idea, the funding of the idea, other locations that have other cities that have utilized the initiative, but we hadn't really talked about exactly how it would be implemented. But it shouldn't take long to figure all of that out. So hopefully, just as quickly as we work to help our business owners, I think we would move with that same deliberate speed to help our citizens.
Yeah, and that was done with staff in-house, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
If that's the route, I don't have a problem.
I think it ought to go.
I have a question, LaVon.
Go ahead.
Mr. Gregory.
On this, it sounds like we don't know exactly how much money we could expect. So whatever amount comes to us is what would go to community action or in-house, whatever. And then have people apply. And as long as the funds are available, we could provide that kind of help for them. Is that how you're looking at it? Because we don't really know how much money we could get, correct?
Correct. And that's pretty much the model that has been used in every other location. When the funds run out, they've run out. But we're hopeful. But if we're able to help 100, 200, some of these utility companies have worked out payment plans. Others have been real persistent in getting those back payments in and wanting everyone to come current. And so this is the first step, just the first step to get it going.
We're all thinking out loud here. I really do like the community action. That way we don't create another portal where people are coming to us every time they need their bills paid. They'll continue to go to the place, community action. Or just like I said, thinking out loud, we have to get I would think that the money has to leave us. So it either has to leave us for community action or it has to leave us to go to the utilities themselves in some sort of escrow. And they determine, as they already probably have a procedure for, Alabama Power does, for relief of past bills.
Well, John, I think, MCA, Mobile Community Action, they've been doing this 30 or 40 years. There's really no need to reinvent the wheel. If that's permissible for us to be able to allocate resources to them, And then they, the persons who would need that assistance typically, they probably are already connected with them, Mobile Community Action.
Yep.
I believe Mayor Stimson says he can address the Mobile Community Act. We're listening, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so President Manzi reached out to me late yesterday afternoon to apprise me that you were thinking about doing this, would like to add it to the agenda. I told him appreciated the heads up. We have talked just real recently to Elijah Jones, who heads Mobile Community Action. So we will work diligently and quickly to figure out how this works. Your comments about the city ourselves trying to do this, it would be very difficult to stand it up very quickly. Mobile Community Action, this is what they've been doing. We've just got to figure out how do we let them do this and what role do we play in it. Because if you go back to what we were doing with the city, with the people applying for the grant money, I mean, it took us a long time to make all that happen. And really, we don't have the personnel to throw at this. So it's a good thing to have Mobile Community Action on standby, knowing how to do it. So we'll certainly see if we can make this work.
It's great news, great news.
I have another question, Mayor. On this deadline for applying for CARES Act money, do you have to say the amount or do you just say the program you're doing and then you'll be refunded? Do you know what the rules are there?
My understanding is a reimbursement. And so that's part of that we have not thought through, like where does the money come from? I mean, do we front the money, and I'll just throw out, do we front the money through our discretionary funds? Do we just, anyway, we've got to figure that out, but we've got to figure out how to come up with that money. And we don't have an answer.
Because I'm not clear on how the program, other than the deadline for knowing something about the first that the state had to know. So, okay.
Well, Mr. Mayor, let me ask you, where is the money coming from for all the other things that we've expended as relates to COVID that we look to be reimbursed?
Yeah. Mr. West is not here right at this minute. I would prefer him to answer that so I don't give some misinformation, but I think it's come from multiple places, actually.
Okay, well, let's continue to tap those sources, Mr. Mayor. That's a good way to go to.
Mr. President, but I thought you were going to give you $75,000 discretionary money up front, and then we'd make it a whole lot easier.
No, sir. No, sir. We got those other wells that are rich with good oil. Let's go tap them.
We'll see what we can do.
Mr. Vice President?
Mr. President? Yeah,
Yes,
thank you so much for bringing this to us this morning to the council of the city. It's a great idea, and I would like to be added on as a sponsor. And also, I would like to see if we can really just take this up to date, because it's just requesting a mayor to create a utility assistance program, and everything. So they can just go ahead and get to working on it. I don't see why we cannot really just take this up today and just go ahead, because we know that the holidays are coming up and people are really struggling. So I'd like to see this go, forth in action.
Same here, Mr. Vice President. And Madam Clerk, if you can make that addition along with Mr. Richardson and anyone else who would Mr. Daves and
good.
I think all of us would want to be on it.
Everybody, we're on it.
That's right.
Okay, Mr. President,
Mr.
if I
Daves.
run through these items that I think we're going to take up today, which are 21-863, the Atlantic Video contract. There was an item on here about emergency repairs to the elevators at the convention center. Is that?
No,
We're not going to take that up today? Okay.
it's not necessary.
58-861, Weeds, 60-862, Scarborough Middle School, and 60-864, the utility fund.
Is there?
Okay, what about the video cameras?
That's what I said. We're missing something there still.
21-863 is the video contract.
Okay, all right.
But is it the entire one? That's the question. Because I think this one's 3, and I think we're talking about 4.
Well,
Gotta renumber.
about four, three was, remember, three was the one that had to do with the circuit court. And since we're not taking that one up, Lisa had to change the number from 864, which was the one for the municipal courts, and change it to 863, since we're not taking up the original 863.
Does it include 4 courtrooms?
That's my understanding, is that it does.
That's what we were told.
Municipal court.
I hear all your answers and they're all correct. I'm waiting for the authority. Does it include 4 courtrooms? 'Cause we're all guessing right now. Ricardo, does the clerk have it?
Oh, no.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm on, yes, 4 courtrooms, yes, sir.
All right, it'll be there when we get ready. I know. Oh, got it.
But we're still gonna carry over 08852.
Yes,
For
sir.
Yeah,
idiot, in an overabundance of caution.
Wouldn't like
Yeah.
to get it.
I don't see why we're holding it over.
Just in case, whatever.
Just in case.
Yeah.
We know they're gonna need it.
No, that we don't think they're gonna need it.
Wow, okay.
It'll be tabled next week.
Yeah, the county's not playing. They don't want to do it. So if they're not going to reimburse us, we're not going to use our monies on it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Call for public hearings, 41865, call for public hearing to consider approval of a certificate of public convenience and necessity to Shatanya Nicholson, doing business as Busy Bees Carrier and Transportation Service, scheduled December 8th. Announcements.
Any announcements from members of the council?
Just a
Go ahead.
reminder, everybody, we do have that Administrative Services Committee meeting. It is next Tuesday at 2:00, and that's to look at short-term rentals. This is kind of starting over to some degree on looking at short-term rentals. For this committee meeting, I really envision the committee, Shayla, and maybe some of her staff and the attorneys, and just kind of going back and looking at what the options are going forward. David Clark is also putting together some information about Savannah and Charleston, and I think also Orange Beach, on how they've handled short-term rentals and their zoning classifications, that sort of thing. Chris has a couple of proposed ordinances. One deals with zoning classification, because as you know, while we were looking at doing business licenses, which still may be a good idea, somebody who was coming to get a business license who had a short-term rental in a residential neighborhood would not be able to get a business license, because the staff would have said, well, there's no zoning classification for that. You can't open a business like this in a residential, in an area that is zoned strictly for residential. So we need to just, take a look at everything, look over all the options, and see, how we want to move forward with this. Once we have all of our folks together, just looking at everything, then we'll hold 1 or 2 other meetings to invite neighborhood associations, people from the industry, and any other interested parties to come, provide input to us, and then we'll try to come back with something more formal that we can actually vote on. But I'm happening overnight.
Gina, I don't think the public is not able to listen to us. So you're just talking to us.
Well, I know. And
I think your announcement needs to be made at 10:30.
Oh, I will.
What you're saying now, so everybody will know what.
Oh, dude, it's live right now.
Yes, it is. It is live, and I just wanted to let you know, and I'll announce it again at.
Okay, we're live. Okay.
And Marion has a news release that she's going, so that everybody knows really what's going on. And I just don't want to blindside anyone in the industry who were part of the last committee meeting that we had. I want them to know what's going on. So we're in touch with them. We'll be sending them the same information just to make sure that they know what's going on.
Gina, if I could comment on that, I'm looking forward to that meeting to, really sit down and figure out how we can do this in the best possible way. On someone getting a business license for a home operation, and Chris, you might know this better than me, but don't they have to limit that to 25% of their square footage to have an in-home operation of any sort? Because no residential area is zoned unless
Right.
it's an in-home business. And
Oh,
that's
for-
25% of your space.
That's a
Oh, you're
big,
talking about just a general in-home business, right?
Yes. So is that a way? I'm just saying, is that might be a way that, you couldn't take an entire house because in-home can only be 25% of your space. That's the most you can use.
But we don't want to be so restrictive that
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in support of that. That's just
I
too
see.
restrictive.
Well, and
Absolutely.
y'all, I don't think we need to start debating it right
Right.
now. That's what the committee meeting is for, to try to figure all this out. As Mr. Manzi mentioned last week, while we have some short-term rentals throughout the city and in residential areas, most of them tend to be more east of I-65, a lot of them downtown. And we thankfully have not seen some of the problems that some of our sister cities have seen with short-term rentals. So it's not an emergency, but we do want to get ahead of it to make sure that we don't find ourselves in the same sort of situation that some of the other cities have found themselves. So this is a good time for us to begin looking at it, just going over everything and figuring out what is our best path forward.
Mr. President,
Mr. Daves?
on the issue of the liquor license at 507 Azalea Road, I've received a communication from Director Barber indicating that after review, the police department has no objection to issuing the license. So I will be in favor of issuing the license.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
all right.
Mr. Williams, did you have any new comments? Okay. Any other announcements?
Mr. President,
Mr. Vice President?
yeah, one council members have requested a CIP meeting for updates. I'm gonna get with the committee members and probably looking at Tuesday, December the 8th, for the meeting right after our council meeting, virtual and everything. But I would get with the other two members between break and try to get that confirmed.
Sounds good, Mr. Vice President. All right, any other announcements?